Welcome to Sanctuary Peacemakers, where we discuss all things related to security inside houses of worship with your host, Unity. Now, let's enter the crucible of our discussion. Before we begin, I want to be clear about something. I am not an attorney, and nothing I say in this podcast constitutes legal advice. The information shared is for educational and informational purposes only. If you have questions about your own legal responsibilities, always consult a licensed attorney familiar with your state and local laws. In the United States, the legality of carrying a firearm in a house of worship depends heavily on state law, church policy, and local ordinances. Some states, like Texas and Georgia, allow permit holders to carry firearms openly or concealed, even inside churches, unless the church specifically prohibits it. Others, such as California and New York, have a more restrictive policy, often leaving firearms out of houses of worship entirely. This makes it crucial for church security teams to know both the law and the church's internal policy before making any decisions. Churches are considered private property. That means church leadership can legally set rules prohibiting weapons on the premises. Violating these rules could result in trespassing or other legal consequences. Conversely, in states where firearms are permitted on church grounds, church security members must still be aware of restrictions on concealed versus open carry, firearm type, and where within the church the firearm can be carried. Being part of a church security team isn't simply about carrying a weapon. Team members need training, clear protocols, and chain of command. This includes understanding use of force laws in your state. The legal concept of defending life is often clear, but improper use can result in criminal charges, including manslaughter or negligent homicide. Coordination with law enforcement. Even when a church security member is armed, police response is essential, but often slower than expected. A number of incident studies show that many active shooter events end in minutes, sometimes before law enforcement arrives. Team responsibilities. Firearm-trained security members often take a triad approach. A. Prevent escalation. B. Protect congregants. C. Communicate clearly with responding officers. Churches that have trained armed security teams are statistically better prepared to minimize casualties. Even though the overall probability of such an event is low, seconds matter, and internal readiness is vital. Let's discuss potential legal consequences for armed church security team members. Criminal liability. Misuse of a firearm, even in defense, can lead to charges such as assault, manslaughter, or negligent discharge. Civil liability. Families or individuals injured during an incident may file civil lawsuits, even if the security team member acted in good faith. Insurance and church policies. Many churches carry liability insurance that may cover security team actions, but coverage often has exclusions for improper use of firearms. It's critical that security team members are trained not only in firearms, but also in situational assessment, communication, and emergency medical response. This ensures that in the tragic event of an incident, they are making legally defensible decisions while protecting the congregants. Here are some practical recommendations. 1. Know the law. Each state's statutes regarding firearm carry, use of deadly force, and private property rights differ. Training should cover state-specific use of force laws. Number 2, regular training. Firearms proficiency, threat assessment, crowd management, and first aid should be practiced frequently. Number 3, clear church policies. Document who is armed, where firearms are stored, and when they can be used. Number 4, coordination with local law enforcement. Share your security plan with local authorities so responders know who is armed and authorized on site. 5. Mental preparation. High-stress incidents require quick decision-making. Stress inoculation training improves reaction under pressure. Remember, even trained security personnel cannot control every variable, but preparation increases the likelihood of saving lives and reducing chaos. Trend: increased violence in houses of worship. In recent years, incidents of violence in houses of worship have been on the rise. A recent report by the Family Research Council noted that hostile incidents against U.S. churches more than doubled from 2022 to 2023. An alarming spike in vandalism, threats, gun-related incidents, and other attacks. Agencies such as the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, have flagged targeted violence against houses of worship as, quote, a real and potentially growing problem, end quote. While worship sites are still statistically safer than many other public venues, the shift means that we must treat them with serious operational respect. Case study: Wayne, Michigan, June 2025. At Crosspoint Community Church in Wayne, an armed assailant approached the church property during a Sunday service. The local police chief stated that church employees and the security team prevented dozens of people from being murdered. Thanks to a trained, armed security officer and immediate response by staff, a large-scale mass casualty event was avoided. This incident illustrates everything we're talking about: training, armed response, coordination, timing, and most importantly, lives saved because of preparation. Training best practices: why some teams succeed and others fail. Training across all roles. Not just the security team, greeters, ushers, staff, and even congregants should know basic response protocols. See programs like ALICE training: alert, lockdown, inform, counter, evacuate. Realistic drills and scenario-based training. Use effective training modules that simulate real church environments with varied populations, children, elderly, mobility limited, so team members aren't surprised. Coordination with law enforcement and emergency services. Have local police familiar with your site, training schedules, who is armed, and communication channels. Continuous improvement cycle. Use self-assessments, vulnerability reviews, and after-action reviews to refine plans over time. See CISA's concept of security improvement cycle. Mindset and culture. A security team that trains with humility and integrates spiritual care, values with protective functions will outperform one that treats security as just watching for the bad guys. The ethical, spiritual side matters. Failure points to watch out for. Relying solely on a weapon or a singular hero without a layered plan. Neglecting communication protocols, so responding officers arrive unsure who is armed. Having untrained or unfamiliar volunteers assigned to security duties. Treating security as separate from ministry. When the congregation doesn't buy into the culture, compliance and situational awareness suffer. Church security teams face not only legal but ethical questions. Armed members must balance duty to protect life with spiritual mission, use of force with de-escalation whenever possible, preparedness with compassion and care for congregants. It's important that security teams train for both active threats and nonviolent emergencies, including medical crisis, fire, or extreme weather. A holistic approach ensures the congregation remains safe and spiritually supported. In conclusion, carrying a firearm in a house of worship is a serious responsibility with legal, ethical, and practical implications. Church security teams must know the law, train diligently, and act decisively. While the probability of an active shooter is low, preparedness saves lives, and proper coordination with law enforcement maximizes safety. Remember, I am not an attorney, and this discussion is for educational purposes only. Consult your local laws and legal counsel before taking any action. Thank you for joining me in Sanctuary Peacemakers, where we discuss all things related to security inside houses of worship. As always, y'all stay safe and y'all stay blessed.